The other piece of information that I believe came from a Bain study that's interesting is that 85% of buying committees start with a day one consideration set, and that 90% of the final buying choice is from that day one consideration set.
Yep, I saw that study
This really,
too.
I think, goes to the heart of the entire ABM strategy, because the whole idea of the ABM strategy is, we're gonna find this intent data as they're researching the product
on G2
or
something.
Is, by the time they're researching the purchase, it's too late. The decision's already been made. And to flip to the other side of the table, what I would consistently see over and over again is a pattern that exactly matches both the Bain and the Gartner study, which was when they were ready to make a purchase and they put together a committee, they would, before anybody did anything, they typically had about 3 choices. And those 3 choices were either 3 of the top 5 market share leaders, or maybe 2 of the top 5 plus a wild card.
Yep.
But there was also always, or almost always, a clear favorite. And the deal is they already knew about each of these products before they ever started. So internally, what the process typically looked like is you come together, you sort of already know what you want to buy. There may be some discussion around, is it the number 1 or the number 2 choice in that day one consideration list. Then you put together a procurement document or procurement request document that you got to send to procurement because you got to loop them in. And they will then engineer that document so that the only possible product that will meet the requirements is the one that they intended to buy from day one. And then you send that over to procurement, and what procurement will say is, we require a minimum of 6 or 7 bids. And so that's where you start to see the research process. Trust me, it's not the CFO doing this. It is the summer intern doing this. They say, go find us 3 or 4 more things that look like this thing. And it's not because they're going to consider it. It's because they need a few sacrificial
governance, right?
Yeah. On the bonfire. But at this point, they've already created the requirements document. And the requirements document has already tilted the table in favor of one choice. So you go through this process, and they're never, they'll go through a lot of pro forma stuff. They'll reach out to the company. They'll have the salespeople come in. They sort of have to do this because you got to follow, these rules, and you got to make things look like they're following the rules. But one of the key things in this is that there is this enormous political battle going on between the buying committee and procurement.